Good morning. Welcome back to Track One here at the Big O International Roller Derby Tournament. I am Beautiful Banshee.
And I'm Toe Furious.
And we are happy to bring you the pairing of Denver Roller Derby's Bruising Altitude, their B team, up against Boston Massacre. It's so a great pairing. This is going to be a lot of fun. It is a regulation game, not sanctioned. And we'd like to introduce you to the skaters.
All right. First up, we have Denver. They'll be wearing the blue this afternoon. Number 10, Unprotected Lex. Number 1117 is Chop Chop. 128, Coco Loco. 1940 is Veronica Ake. 1337 is Glitterous. 212, Clam. 22 is Judge. 27 is Gobrecht. 40 is Beetlejuice. 406, Elwood. 52, Andy. 65, Diosa Azteca. Number 91 is Watson Cirabo. 949, your captain is Coyote. And number 98, Thorns.
Okay, wearing white today, we have the Boston Massacre, 11, Casey McLean, 120, Electrocute, 121, Agent Mulder, 1845, Lil Payne, 2, MC Slammer, 207, Cruliat Lewis, 2089, Small Fox, 21, Emily Nolan, 2787, Dorcas Maximus, 43, Caitlin Monahan, 451, Rage Bradbury, 517, Tiger Eye, 749, Wednesday Adams, 8, Aubrey Planets, 90, Lil Something. They are coached by Smitochondria, aka Smite, Obstinate, Bo Tiny, and Surly Temple.
All right, looks like we're ready to go. I did forget to mention the Denver coaches. They are coached this afternoon by Seamus, Hope, and JJ.
And Denver having a great weekend so far and cannot wait till later when the Mile High Club takes on Rose City. So
yeah, that should be a good game this afternoon.
Yes, and I will have the pleasure of being on stream for that one. And yeah, let's just say edge of the seat and total nail biter, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, everybody's looking forward to that one. I did see this Denver B team play earlier in the weekend, and they are really good. That was a very good game against Rose City's B team. And while Rose City did come out on top, the Denver team was really good, very well coached, very good skaters and good team.
Excellent. And, being number 3 as far as their A team in the WFTDA, I am not surprised by their commitment to high quality derby. And currently we have everyone ready, setting up off the line, seeing all the high fives on the track. Dorcas Maximus, and just a quick fun fact, aside from being a good friend, this is Dorcas's Boston Massacre debut here at the Big O, so what a weekend to do it.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome. A good chance to show what we have here.
Exactly, and I've promised not to embarrass her.
Oh, well, I'm sure that won't last very long.
But not embarrassing at all, actually quite proud. We have Jammers of Record, Beetlejuice, out up the straightaway, right out the pack in a matter of seconds, taking lead for Bruising Altitude. Lil Payne is her opposition. Though Lil Payne in the front stretch still just breaking the pack in turn 1, seeing the pack get split up a bit. Dorcas Maximus getting caught in the back of the pack by Bruising Altitude's defense. We're seeing a quick 4 points on the second scoring trip, so making it 8 points for Bruising Altitude and 0 for Boston.
Yeah, there was a huge hole on the outside there for Beetlejuice. Just a big old gap on the outside of the track, skating around untouched.
Now, Tiger Eye 517 with the star for Massacre and in blue for Bruising Altitude. Let's see who we have because I just missed the number, but that would be Andy, who we've also seen skating with the Mile High Club. And Andy pushing on up, taking the pack into turn 2, but a shoulder knock from Wednesday Adams, able to take her down. Nolan doing her part to hold her. Adams picks up a penalty in the hit this penalty box.
It looks like Andy now with lead jammer status for Denver.
And Andy using that advantage as well as the power jam opportunity to push through. A total of 12 thus far in only Jam 2. Bruising Altitude with a drawback on Tiger Eye. And I do apologize, I said power jam, that was not correct.
Yeah, it looks
the
like
white helmets.
Boston's jammer's still out there, but They have the star in their hand, so that's tough to tell now.
Well, I think, too, it was the group of white helmets that threw me completely. But up the outside, though taken out by Nolan and drawn back into turn 3, that is Andy. So seeing a little bit of clock burn coming from the Massacre defense. Now a braced 2-wall. That would be Electrocute. Bracing, but a little something in there, and cycling to the front with Nolan. In the front stretch now, that last line of defense, we're seeing some quick recycling from Boston. And Nolan and Lil able to take back Andy behind the pivot line. Meanwhile, in the back of the pack, Wednesday Adams getting caught up. It appears perhaps there had been a star pass that did not get completed.
Well, that was some really nice defense by Boston there to hold up Andy all that whole time there.
Not an easy feat, we know. We're seeing a full complement of blockers. So the hit this penalty box currently empty. Before you hit the track, hit this. And they mean the Derby gear.
Yeah, of course. No hitting the announcer crew.
No. Although I can take and give the hit and hold my own.
Oh, I'm sure. I, on the other hand, would probably need the medics.
It's okay. I will come to your aid, Toe Furious. But right now, we have Coco Loco securing lead for Denver. Small Fox taking the inside line, able to break the pack at about 20 seconds in. Oh, we have Agent Mulder going for the drawback, forcing the call off.
Yeah, and Coco Loco quickly with the call off there before the Boston Jammer could get around to score any points.
Yes, cutting her losses, but 3 points from Coco Loco to boot. So 23-0 currently, and just under 4 minutes into period 1. And some happy folks over on the Bruising Altitude bench because everyone's having a great time here at the Big O.
It is a great weekend, such a great time. Awesome roller derby all weekend long. Still a lot more to go today. And just like that, number 11, Casey McLean, will take lead jammer for Boston.
And Chop. Oh, it appears, oh no. We ended up, there perhaps some miscommunication.
Maybe.
Because I saw the L go up as well. But lead was given to Denver after quickly the jam ref changed things to not lead on McLean.
Yeah, there must have been a no pass, no penalty or something there we didn't see.
It's all right. They keep us on our toes.
That's it.
And let's see what's going on. So quick view of the Boston bench. Coach Botani looking dapper as ever. Starley Temple making sure that the next line is prepared.
Looks like Rage Bradbury on the line here for Boston and Speedlejuice for Denver.
Yep, and right now we've got both jammers caught up in the shuffle, but it is Speedlejuice lead to her credit, and yes, I couldn't wait for that.
Oh, don't say it 3 times.
Well, I did, but it was after lead was acquired, so I think we were out of the woods.
I think you're right.
Brad is able to get out, Pack quickly accordioning back, though Speedlejuice gets through, slows down though due to Boston's hit to the infield, calls it with 4 on the last scoring trip. 27 in total for Bruising Altitude. And don't forget, if you are on social media while you are tuning in to the Big O 2019, please make sure to use the hashtag BigO2019. We'd love to hear from you. I will be checking Twitter periodically, see what you kids are up to out there. I know there's a lot going on this weekend, and we appreciate having you here with us. And a drawback from Boston's defense on Gobrecht. Lil Payne, her opposition, at the front of the pack, securing lead.
All right, that's the first lead now for Boston, and that's the one we had a little bit of a mistake on earlier, so now we have an official lead from Boston. That's awesome.
Yes, and we're seeing, that was pack
Star
definition, and it appears our pivot from Boston, a little something off to the penalty box.
And Gobrecht now through for 4 points for Denver.
Currently a reduced line of Aubrey Planets and Emily Nolan at the front of the pack. Oh, and then we had Volt, that's Electrocute, hidden on the inside line. but jam is called. Boston on the board thanks to Lil Payne, 6 points to Denver's 33.
Oh, that's good to see them get off the schneid there, get on the board, and get this game rolling for Boston.
I've never heard that before. Get off the schneid. I like it.
Yeah.
I might have to borrow that.
That might be an old guy term. I'm not sure.
That's all right. It's retro.
There you go. It's retro now.
All right. So setting things up, giving some breathing room to our jammer line. And that is the Eugene Weekly local vocal jammer line, if I'm not mistaken. And Andy, make no mistake, makes the pack get out of her way. Tiger Eye pushing up against Bruising Altitude's trio. And in the middle of the back stretch, we're seeing a bit of a mosh pit, if you will, though right now quick separation, and Andy pushing past Massacre's defense.
Oh, but we have a penalty now. It looks like Andy headed to the penalty box.
Oh, so a power jam, but there has been a star pass.
Well, number 90 will be our jammer of note now, Lil Something for Boston.
And we'll see what Lil Something can do. And Lil Something was a transfer into Boston last season from a New Hampshire team. And Lil loses one. Oh, it appears a cover. Oh, it was a drop of the stripe when she took off the star to get through the pack.
Denver has a two-player. Oh, there's one player left in the penalty box now. Glitter is standing, though. It won't be long before they come out.
Mm-hmm. And Andy around the outside up the straightaway. Lil Some able to break through and pick up a Lil Some. A total of 4 on the pass. That takes Boston to 10. Though 4 points for Andy, it looks like it's turning into 8. So that will take Denver to 41. And we're seeing a drawback. And that was on behalf of Clam from Bruising Altitude.
Hey, we'd like to remind everybody, you got to check out the experience, the game-changing Solaris, the performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing over at the Rydell booth, just straight ahead away from the other side of the track from us here. Check them out over at Rydell.
And of course, if for some reason you are not in house with us, Rydell.com.
Well, naturally.
Yes. And we love some Rydell around here. And from what I understand, they have their newest Antic boot available in-house. So make sure you check their website so you can get all of the goodness. But speaking of goodness, before us, Coco Loco with the star for Bruising Altitude up against Small Fox. Wednesday Adams rushing back.
Looks like Coco Loco headed to the penalty box.
Yes, the cutting the track penalty. That's what Wednesday Adams' hustle was all about in the front stretch. So effective, pulling the power jam for Small Fox. And I know that I had mentioned off mic, Boston Roller Derby has 4 home teams. And many of the skaters who are on the travel team do skate with home teams. Small Fox is one of the Wicked Pisses. Because, of course, it wouldn't be Boston without Wicked Pisses.
Well, exactly.
And, we have...
You got to say that with the accent, too, right?
Of course. It's one of the few times you will hear my Massachusetts come out. I try to keep it as professionally amateur as possible, but I guess that leans on the amateur end.
Well,
but right now, what is going end-to-end in the back stretch, that's the pack. But coming right back together, we have Dorcas Maximus, Wednesday Adams, working on Coco Loco, putting those brakes on. Small Fox powering it out, pushing Bruising Altitude's pivot. That would be number 27, Gobrecht, to the utmost extent. But Bruising Altitude's defense sweeps Small Fox to the lines on both sides. Number 10, Unprotected Lex, to the penalty box as a result. Do believe that was a direction of gameplay penalty.
Well, Small Fox now on a scoring pass, 4 points.
Mm-hmm. So a total of 8 because 2 trips around with points. We have 2 skaters in the penalty box. They hit this Derby Gear penalty box.
Oh, Small Fox getting really low there.
And Wednesday Adams of Boston, along with Emily Nolan, having a seat in the hit this penalty box. And we have 1 Denver blocker as well. So we'll have a 3-2 pack advantage for Bruising Altitude as we head into Jam 9.
Actually, it looks like there's 2 skaters for Denver in the penalty box as well. A penalty.
Late addition.
Gobrecht is also there.
Thank you.
So both teams are starting 2 players short here. Very limited pack here for this beginning of this jam.
This is what I like to call a packlet. And
Packlet, there you go. That's a good one.
Right around the packlet pretty quickly, that 2-on-2 blocker situation in the front stretch. We have Casey McLean securing lead for Boston. Chop Chop making the rounds. We'll see what happened here. Oh no, and I am wrong. It was Chop Chop with lead who made it through first and picking up 4 points on her 1 scoring trip.
Hey, did you all know that Chicks and Bowls is online? Visit cibcrew.com and use sale code BIG-O-YEAH, all caps, for 10% off of hardware such as slide blocks and wheels, active until the end of the Big O weekend. Check it out. They got a great booth over here, too, if you're down here or you're going to come later. Check it out, Chicks and Bowls.
All right, and Brad is up to something. Rage Bradbury saw some waving of the hands before the jam began, but Brad fighting it out while Speedlejuice about a lap ahead. Lead to Denver's credit. And Brad keeping it jukey and up on those tippy toes, pushing it out, mid-back stretch, able to escape it. Now the initial is done. Scoring trip in order, though no points for Brad, 4 for Speedlejuice. All right, right now, after Jam 10 completed, we have Boston at 23, Denver's Bruising Altitude at 4. I believe we have an empty hit this penalty box. So right now, everyone is lined up and ready to roll. Oh, it is a 4-3 pack advantage for Denver. Andy and Lil Payne are your jammers of note, of course, if you're just joining us. Bruising Altitude of Denver is in navy. And Massacre from Boston is in white.
There was a player in the penalty box for Boston, but they're back out on the track now, so both teams are at full strength.
And of course, in turn 2, we're seeing a little bit of a stoppage, but a star pass, if I'm not mistaken, to Monahan on Boston.
And there's the call off from Andy.
And Andy saw Caitlin Monahan coming around the bend, said, nope, I'll take my 4 and go with it. And Bruising Altitude with a 30-point lead over Boston, sitting at 53-23. And we're officially, or almost officially, through the first quarter of the game. Seeing the lineup, keeping it nice and close as far as Boston's defense setting up right in front of the Jammers. Only 1 Denver blocker was back there at the moment, but then they quickly roll back from pivot line. Jammers have been released, though fighting their way through. We have Coco Loco really just going Gumby style, juking in, out, and all around. Lead was secured by Tiger Eye, though Coco Loco out in front.
Yeah, Coco Loco just showing the speed here. And Tiger Eye blasting through the pack, but being recycled now from the inside.
Boston taking the front. We have Adams and Planets up there in hopes to shut it down on Coco Loco. And to the inside line with some assistance from their pivot.
It's like Tiger Eye now headed to the penalty box for Boston.
Lil Something has Coco Loco's number and is all over her. But seeing some constant cycling between Adams, Planets, and Lil. And Denver just getting reacclimated, regrouping in the back. Their pivot deciding, hey, I'm going to come hang out with Lil Something over here because we want to keep her busy and away from our jammer.
All right, looks like Tiger Eye now out of the penalty box and yes, about ready to engage the pack here.
Of course, we know jammer penalties especially are crucial. Everyone trying to stay out of that hit this Derby Air penalty box. And it is a double hit from Bruising Altitude on Tiger Eye, taking her to the outside line, but then working right back to the inside. So definite radar all over the jammer.
And meanwhile, Coco Loco threw on another scoring pass here. Boston's defense is kind of spread all over the track here. Looks like they only have 2 blockers on the track at this time. So Coco Loco finding pretty easy run here. Only 2 blockers on the track.
And that's never fun.
Oh, it's nice skating there. Coco Loco to stay in bounds.
Well, Coco Loco definitely with the fancy footwork. I appreciate that so very much. And I'm sure she does too because it helps her out in securing as many points as possible.
Thanks to our current producer, Reed Crandall.
All right, we'd also like to thank Hit This Derby Gear. We have everything you need to get rolling, from skates, protective gear, and unmatched service for all your derby needs. Before you hit this, hit the track. Hit this.
And currently 4-3 pack advantage for Boston Massacre as Diosa Azteca in the box for Bruising Altitude. But right now, jammers of note, Chop Chop for Denver and Small Fox for Boston. Denver's pivot to the penalty box as well. And Small Fox with a little hippity hop over the inside line in turn 1. Meanwhile, Chop Chop picks up a forearm call, so it will be a power jam in favor of Boston Massacre.
Looks like Denver's recycling plenty of skaters in and out of the Hit This penalty box.
And we all have our moments.
Their jammer and their pivot are both residing there at the moment.
And I know we were talking about this. We're going to make sure after period 1, when we return for period 2, we'll do a thorough review of penalties for both teams to see where they're at. I know it's always helpful to have that.
Looks like we have a lot of penalties so far, but not any players in any kind of trouble, at least not yet. Still
Which is
plenty of
always
time
good.
to go here.
Well, I prefer to not think about that until we absolutely must.
Exactly.
And Small Fox, having made 4 scoring trips so far, so 16 points, taking Boston to 43, and on scoring trip number 5, getting caught up in a defensive quagmire of Bruising Altitude mid-back stretch, though seeing if we can get a little help. Cruliette Lewis heading in, attacking some links, though down to 2 blockers in the back on Small Fox. We're sending pivot from Boston to the Hit This Derby Gear penalty box. It appears that Agent Mulder did go out of bounds. Not sure if she was initially headed for the penalty box or no, not headed for the box, just cycled out.
Uh-huh.
I always double check because one never knows if someone's in the queue.
Yeah, especially with as many skaters as we had headed to the box, we're not sure now.
Yes.
Denver does have 2 in the box as we speak, and it looks like Boston has 1.
And that's their pivot, which is crucial to have available on the track. But right now, Bruising Altitude maintaining that 30-point lead, 76-46. Gobrecht, who we saw with a stellar performance against Montreal here at the Big O, jamming against Casey McLean of Boston. And up front, we have a little one-on-one action going. Emily Nolan blocking on Gobrecht. Not enough to hold her, so lead has been established in favor of Denver.
Looks like Wednesday Adams headed to the penalty box now for Boston.
Full speed ahead, doing what they can. The pack avoiding any points for either jammer. At first, scoreless jam.
Yeah, that was a lot of action there, and the pack was all sorts of stretched out, and just nothing really happened, and decided to call it off and start over, regroup here a little.
Right. When you see everyone starting to hustle and go full force sprint, you know they're hoping for the jammers to get worn out quickly. And in this case, not so much wearing out, but jammer said, I'm not gonna roll with that. Let's call it off. All right. Back to Jam 15. It is Brad versus Juice. That's right, Rage Bradbury versus Speedlejuice. Lead for Brad and Boston.
It's a great number for Bradbury there.
Yes, it is.
451.
Fahrenheit 451.
Got to play the whole game there. That's awesome.
And the other day, I can't remember who it was. There was someone Boston played, and they had a 451 as well. And they were doing one heck of a job blocking on Brad. And I was like, oh, 451 all around, bringing the fire.
Bringing the fire.
Because really, it happens. And Brad picks up 4 on the scoring trip.
Speaking of bringing the fire, Bradbury out again.
And it appears we have a power jam in effect because Speedlejuice had gone off to the penalty box, but returned to the track just a moment ago. And we are seeing 13:37 glitterous pivot for Bruising Altitude, just going with that powerful repetitive hit and a sweep to the inside on Brad, but she's able to recoup.
Beetlejuice back to the penalty box once again. And it's like Brad's going to call it off here to try to preserve that power start for the next jam.
Yes, putting that ice on.
And don't forget, gang, on all your social media pictures and everything you're posting up there, use the hashtag BigO2019 in all of your photos and posts about the tournament this weekend, so we can all relive it in our afterlife here after Big O is over. Anything going on Twitter there?
I'm taking a quick peek, and I see Big O Biggies. Oh my!
Well, we sure hope somebody's watching us.
Biggie Talls. Sleazer tweeted a photo of Biggie Talls in Big O shorts.
Oh
and
my!
Biggie Talls has legs for days, apparently, according to this photo.
Well, yeah, he's about 10 feet tall.
Yeah, I mean, aptly named. But that is amazing. So hashtag Big O Biggies, hashtag Big O2019. Make sure you're pinging us. But what's most important right now is Beetlejuice back on the track after starting in the penalty box. Lil Payne did secure lead with the power start. And we're seeing a vehement call-off being requested by Smite, though.
Well, there must be something
didn't
going on
happen.
there.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice still rolling around the pack here. Oh, there's the call-off. Now the referees have seen it.
Emily Nolan pivots for Massacre to the penalty box. We'll take another quick peek. We've got two folks in the box. Oh, no, that wasn't Emily Nolan pivoting. I'm sorry. Emily Nolan was in the penalty box. I have an obstructed view here, so otherwise I would be able to give you clearer information. I apologize, friends.
Yeah, sorry, gang out there. We have a very difficult time seeing the penalty box from our vantage, and we can't see it at all, in fact.
Although, I will say, we have a primo view. We have a nice widescreen monitor before us for this broadcast, and that's a thing of beauty.
We can see the game. We just can't see the penalty box.
So Coco Loco securing lead pretty quickly on the scoring trip right now, while Tiger Eye for Boston still pushing through the pack as it moves into turn 2. But right around the outside, Coco Loco says, girl, you good. You're going to be tied up in that pack, and I'll just go ahead and take those 4 points.
Oh, and Coco Loco just putting on a display here of skating ability.
Doesn't mind if she does. Take those points and run with it. So scoring trip number 2 in progress. Boston's defense working to take out Coco Loco, and that is Nolan at the front.
And there's a
cutting the track penalty.
Yeah, it looked like Nolan had knocked out Coco Loco there, but perhaps they didn't feel they did.
Well,
Coco Loco headed to the penalty box.
Delayed reaction sometimes, but we know it does take a moment. But we see Caitlin Monahan and Emily Nolan able to wrap Bruising Altitude's offense and avoid their defense avoiding any sort of pick. And now Tiger Eye on second scoring trip, so 8-4 right now on this jam for Boston. And Coco Loco still in the penalty box, standing.
Yeah, little something, just making laps now, as Boston has their jammer and a blocker in the penalty box. Looks like Boston's got their Denver's defense spread out a little bit here, and that's helping a little something get through.
Highest scoring jam in the game thus far, I believe.
I believe you're right, so far.
16 points, courtesy of Tiger Eye. Oh, no, it was a pass. I'm sorry. When you said little something, I went, wait a minute, I don't see a little something. Oh, because she was ducking down behind someone with a star on her head.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good catch, Toe Furious. And teamwork makes that dream work.
Yeah, so, getting low, Boston's jammers, a little something.
And seeing Cruliette Lewis and Tiger Eye being able to shut it down in the front of the pack on Coco Loco. So 18 points in total for Lil Something / Tiger Eye. There was a combo there to Denver's 10. So it is now a 14-point game. Bruising Altitude at 90. Boston Massacre 76. We are just shy of 4 minutes remaining in the period. And just taking a quick look at penalties. Maximum penalties on either team. There's one skater with 4 each. Everyone else is under that. So keeping it relatively clean.
Yeah, and this is a pretty well-matched game here. Boston making a triumphant comeback here toward the end of the first half.
And Aubrey Planets getting a low block call, though being effective in taking Chop Chop off the track for a few seconds, though we know living up to that name, Chop Chop, things to do here, places to go, people to see, and points to grab.
And penalty box to stay out of.
Yes, and we had an elevator door of Volt and Adams that shut things down on Chop Chop. Though Chop Chop does pick up 2 points, so past the hips of those two blockers. So 92-76 for Denver. An official timeout right now. So definitely check out some of the great things that are happening here at Big O 2019.
Yeah, be sure to check out our vendor area. We have a great vendor area with all kinds of stuff going on there. Remember, Rydell is over there. They have the game-changing Solaris, the performance you demand and the comfort you've been missing. Check it out, Rydell.com, or right here at the Vendor Village.
And so furious. I just have to give a shout out because I was keeping an eye on Derby Twitter, and Tchaikovsky and Diana Sprint are watching Boston versus Bruising, and they are yelling hashtag pinch, pinch, pinch. And they said hello to me. Thank you. You're very kind. And so fun fact, so Tchaikovsky is now affiliated with Denver. In the past has skated with Boston. Also announces.
Awesome.
One of our announcer friends, she joined me at Lobster Roll on my crew, so
nice.
Fantastic. And I can see the conflict in that room.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, I'm so torn, yay, roller derby. So thanks again for pinging us on Twitter, and glad to have you tuning in. Lead secured by Casey McLean. Her opposition off the Eugene Weekly local vocal jammer line was Andy, who has now broken the pack, full speed ahead. Turn 2, we have Caitlin Monahan in the front of the pack for Boston, seeing some penalties. What's happening here? That would be Agent Mulder to our Hit This Derby Gear penalty box. So only a 12-point lead for Bruising Altitude, but of course we've seen this fluctuate. They sit at 92. Boston is at 80, and there were 4 points picked up in the last jam.
Yeah, this is a great match. These teams are evenly matched here, coming together right toward the end of the half here. It'll be a very interesting second half, I believe.
Well, and I think it's a really great challenge for both teams. Yes, Bruising Altitude is the B team at Denver, but knowing that they are part of one of the top leagues in the world, and Boston, currently 33 in the WFTDA's rankings. You know, this is a great opportunity for both of these teams to really test themselves and step up for a challenge. And Speedlejuice definitely a challenge, but as is the braced two-wall of Adams and Lil Something, not going to be an easy feat to surpass.
And Rage Bradbury now through to take lead jammer for Boston. That's two in a row. That's 2 in a row lead jams for Boston. That's a little bit of a trend.
No point, no penalty for Speedlejuice, though she did break out of the pack. But we saw the lockdown from Massacre's defense. Boston at 84 as Brad puts up 4 points. Just 8 points away from Bruising Altitude at 92 points.
Boston has held Denver scoreless in the last 2 jams that they've gotten lead jammer on, so that's pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. First time that's happened this bout as well.
Yep, and that's the great thing. Oh, we got a little dance party happening. We have great tunes happening in the house. We have a skater who is with Lane County Commission as a DJ currently, and I will confirm said name shortly. But Lil Payne, going for the apex jump, does get cycled back. I believe that was Glitterous getting in the way. Yes.
Oh, and it looks like we got a forearm call on Coco Loco now headed to the penalty box for Denver.
Well, these things happen, but laughing as Dorcas Maximus headed to the penalty box at the same time, and always with a great sense of humor.
That's great to see those skaters smiling and laughing. They're all having a good time out there. Very competitive, but still having a lot of fun.
It's one of those, you get that shrug, the meh Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
But yes, the sportspersonship is on point here at the Big O 2019.
It is. I've seen many examples of great sportsmanship here this weekend.
That is a beautiful thing. And right now, the pack moving into the midway of the backstretch after bouncing from turn 2. Seeing penalty box empty out. Coco Loco back at it. Lil Payne fighting up against a very tough lean coming from 406. That's Elwood.
And Coco Loco just blasting through the pack.
But look at that. Bruising altitude, shutting it down. Just saying, hey, we're here, we're not moving. And, or just moving ever so slightly to avoid penalty, of course.
And Boston picks up another big 4 points. That's 0 points for Denver and 3 jams in a row. So Boston chipping away here.
Now, that's the first run we've had with Denver being held scoreless, if I'm not.
That is correct. They've only gone scoreless in 1 or 2 jams before this last 3. So that's a big deal here. Boston really starting to step it up.
And I am so completely given a gift right now that I have Toe Furious tracking the stats over here. He's doing such a great job because it's handy for all of us. And we're going to chat about penalties because we've reached intermission. So the end of period 1, 92 for Bruising Altitude, 88 for Boston Massacre. And as far as penalties, we have, again, keeping it relatively clean. 4 penalties for Glitterous on Denver and 4 penalties for Wednesday Adams on Boston. That's the maximum. And as far as everyone else, we're seeing 3 or less. But I will say we're seeing a broader spread of penalties on Denver than Boston. But certain skaters bearing the weight on penalties more on Boston, like Lilsum and Agent Mulder, being pivots. Also, Emily Nolan, a defensive force. Aubrey Planets at 2, as well as Dorcas Maximus. And then we have either 1 or less for everyone else. Denver, Judge Chop Chop. So Chop Chop being a jammer and having just 1 penalty. Pretty great. And Coco Loco is at 3. We saw that just happening recently. But I'm sure, things will turn around in period 2. And I cannot wait to see the outcome.
I know, it's going to be awesome. This first half was very exciting, and it looks like it's builded up to be a great second half. Both teams playing very well. Very good roller derby.
Yes, and we'll be back in about 8 minutes. We're going to take a breath while we can. See you soon.
See you soon.
It would help if you could hear us.
Yeah. Good morning. Welcome back, fans. We're back for the second half here. Just about 30 seconds to go.
Just in the nick of time.
Yeah. That's all right. Pretty loose, casual atmosphere here today, and everybody's having a good time here on the final day of the Big O.
I'm Beautiful Banshee here with Toe Furious. And let's talk about points per jam. Highest scoring jam now, 19 points on each side. Looks like, look at that, the divide.
Yeah.
Completely opposite, back to back. Once for Denver and once for Boston. 18 points put up later on by Boston. But Denver's highest scoring jam has been that 19.
Yeah, that's a testament, I think, to Boston's ability to keep it close and keep it interesting, and they're right there. We'll see how the second half plays out here.
Beetlejuice versus Tiger Eye off of our Eugene Weekly local vocal jammer line. Quickly out, obviously, Beetlejuice.
And don't say it 3 times.
I will not this time. Watch out, I'll surprise you later. Tiger Eye not far behind her. A quick call off.
Nice, quick 4 points from Beetlejuice and the call off. Hey, don't forget, fans, I know we've already mentioned it once, but send us pictures of your pets enjoying the Big O from home. Hashtag Big O Cats and hashtag Big O Dogs. We love to see our furry fans. I've even seen some doggos here at the venue yesterday and as well as today. Some doggos hanging around here. Lots of fun.
Well, there was a doggo at the Rose City bench last night with the Wheels of Justice.
That is right. That doggo's name is Wallace, and that is Simonis, one of our big blockers service animal. And Wallace is a great dog, and he's here all the time, always with Simonis wherever they go.
Oh.
And it's just a wonderful time, and the dog is so good.
Well, Wallace looks like a snuggly pup, and I totally said so on House last night. But back to the track, not looking so snuggly, but pretty fierce. Andy with the lead for Bruising Altitude, and with 4 points. on her first scoring trip and leaning right into Agent Mulder and keeping momentum, making it a total of 8. Small Fox out there having put in some work, though, ended up in our Hit This Derby Gear penalty box, returning to the track, coming back behind the pack in turn 3, as she should, caught up in a tumultuous trio of Denver blockers. That would be number 10, Unprotected Lex, number 98, Thorns, and of course, I do believe that might be Glitterous pivoting, but I will confirm shortly. Seeing just the clock burn occurring.
Meanwhile, Andy struggling with the Boston 3-wall at the top of turn 2.
And that pack extension is pretty crazy. They are really testing the full boundary of the engagement zone.
And 1 to beat now, Andy around. And finally through for 4 more points for Denver. Bringing the total this jam 12. And looks like we have a star pass for Boston now. Our lead jammer of note will be number 43, and that's Caitlin Monahan. And there's the call-off, as we usually see when there's a star pass.
Of course. Now, I did want to point out it was 27 Gobrecht pivoting, and the force behind that braced 2-wall from Denver. Quite impressive and not surprised one bit. 16-0 unanswered in favor of Denver, taking them to 112-88.
Well, that's a big start for Denver here. They must
Definitely.
have listened to their coach's speech at halftime and taken it to heart, because
Yes.
here we go. It's like
Highly
Denver with a big
motivated.
start. Yeah, big start for Denver here in the second half. Coco Loco on the line once again for Denver. And number 11, which is Casey McLean
Yes.
for Boston, who is now your lead jammer.
Now, Coco Loco getting caught up on number 120. That's Electrocute with Agent Mulder and Lil something. Oh, no, not Agent Mulder. Sorry.
Looks like
we
Watson
have Adams.
Cirabo. It looks like Watson Cirabo for Denver now headed to the penalty box.
Okay, we're seeing the star pass occurred for Bruising Altitude. So no longer is it Coco Loco jamming. Let's see who we have.
Looks like Glitterous be our
Yes.
jammer now for Denver.
Now in the front of the pack at the edge of the backstretch and turn 3, Casey McLean comes right around and seeing the sweeping hit from Adams and staying in bounds and in play, forcing a cutting the track penalty by the hands of Adams. So now we'll see Casey McLean push out that brace 2 wall with a quick spin move.
Oh, nice move there
Graceful
by
as
Casey
ever.
McLean. That was super nice move to get through that pack. Big jam there. See, now there's a big jam for Boston on that one, 16-3. So that puts them right back in the mix here.
And just an 11-point game as Denver's Bruising Altitude at 115, Boston Massacre at 104. And the powers start with Glitterous in our Hit This Derby Gear penalty box. Before you hit the track, make sure you hit this.
All right, here we go. Power start for Rage Bradbury. Engaging the Denver wall now.
Now we have Boston lined up, set for a sweeping pick, though Brad getting caught up in the mix, drawn back by Bruising Altitude. And I did see a penalty call in there, not sure who it was on. Oh, there was a pack contact penalty. But scooting back, we have Boston's pivot working to contain Glitterous.
That looks like Glitter is back out of the penalty box now and is your jammer and your lead jammer.
Oh, Brad being taken to the outside in turn 3, though back at it. And a clear inside line for Glitterous as we see Gobrecht doing, creating a perfect distraction for Massacre's blockers.
I want to use the word massacre.
Hey, we'd like to shout out to derbywarehouse.com for all your derby gear needs with free shipping and free returns. Check them out, derbywarehouse.com. Free shipping and free returns? That's awesome.
I know.
That's awesome sauce right there.
It really is. I like to say for the low, low price of free 99.
free.
Yes,
Free.
we like that. And not free, but definitely out and about, picking up those points. 1117, Chop Chop says, I have places to be, let's do this. And Lil Payne does escape the pack. It is moving into turn 2 and quickly the back stretch. Chop Chop in there and and yes, Emily Nolan's hips able to drive out Chop Chop.
And Chop Chop calling off quickly before any points could be scored there by Boston.
And 4 for Chop Chop, 123 to 104, a 19-point game at current. And we are 7 minutes, because math. Bear with me, this is day 3 of the Big O, folks.
It's early. It's still early.
It really is. The quick computation, got to catch up a little bit more coffee. But Tiger Eye is ready, does not need coffee or already took care of that, up against Beetlejuice, who found that small opening up the outside straightaway. Lead to her credit.
Denver's doing a good job of sealing off the line on that
definitely.
outside. That's several times we've seen that now.
Yeah,
They just opened a huge hole for their jammer to blast through.
well, in addition, the distraction, and it's not even necessarily the most aggressive pick in opening the line. It's just the the mind game sometimes with their opposition, and it's really paying off.
Yeah, they just kind of miraculously happens, and then the jammer zips through. So it's awesome.
Well, will you look at that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we see Dorcas Maximus on Beetlejuice joining Caitlin Monahan along with MC Slammer. And let's see, Monahan getting to the inside, really watching the pack definition.
It's like Tiger Eye back out of the penalty box now and engaging the Boston or the Denver. And a star pass. Looks like number 43 now. Caitlin Monahan will be our jammer of note for Boston.
First, a successful sweep from Cruliette Lewis, and then from Dorcas Maximus with a shoulder. So 2 times cycled to the inside in a matter of seconds from Boston Massacre, though 8 points for Bruising Altitude. So they're at 131 over Boston's 104.
Still keeping it close here.
And I know you brought up the hashtag Big O Cats and hashtag Big O Dogs.
Yeah.
But Loose Change and I, well, it's more so Loose Change. It was her idea. Yesterday, she brought up hashtag Big O Snack. So for snakes.
Yeah.
And then also there was hashtag Big O Iguana. That was
No kidding.
That was the baby of Sleazer and Rippy.
Nice.
And I found
Where did they find an iguana?
Target had a plush iguana this morning.
Oh
I just want you to be aware of this. Rippy and I went to Target. We found a plush iguana, and it is out there on Twitter with the hashtag.
Big O Iguana. Don't forget to tag all your friends.
Absolutely.
And looks like Andy blasting through the pack now. 4 points for Boston. Back to the Derby action.
Yes, and we're seeing Boston's 2-wall. It's Electrocute and Emily Nolan at the front, but then Aubrey Planets comes on in to get in the way of Andy, but taken down. And let's see, Lil Something working for the front.
Oh, we do have another star pass. Boston changing the star to number 90, but there's the call off.
Right, and Lil Something had taken the star, but meanwhile still working that low lean of a block.
Yeah, that's something right there.
All of the things, 139 to 104 in favor of Bruising Altitude.
Hey, we'd like to just tell you that WFTDA tournaments provide everyone who loves roller derby an opportunity to witness the most anticipated matchups of the year. Get all the info at WFTDA.com/tournaments.
Yes, and I'm sure that you will see representation from Denver and likely Boston at either a Continental Cup and or an international playoff. So definitely good previews occurring at the Big O.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely some preseason previews. These are first games for most of these big teams in the season, so we'll see how they're looking.
Yep, and
how the
Caitlin
season's
Monahan
gonna go.
to the hit this penalty box for Boston, seeing Coco Loco driven back and making a quick adjustment to her knee pad, make sure safety of the utmost importance. And right after that quick adjustment, lead secured.
Coco Loco with a nice move.
Took 46 seconds for lead to be declared in this jam, but that seems to be the trend across this game, that blockers are really making the jammers work for every single centimeter even, or millimeter of the track.
This Boston duo here Who's really doing a great job. Dorcas Maximus.
And I believe Emily Nolan.
Coco Loco now through, but it took a long time. A lot of time off the clock on that one.
And Dorcas Maximus and Emily Nolan, both alums of Massacre Roller Derby. Oh, forgive me. It wasn't Nolan. I saw the 2-1. It was 1-2-1. Agent Mulder. Oh, we're seeing Coco Loco, the call off because of being forced out of bounds right after turn 2. 8 points in total for Denver, 147 to 104. Boston has been held scoreless for at least, 2-3 jams now?
Yeah, it looks like 3 jams in a row. No, 4 jams in a row they've been held scoreless.
So we're seeing as they grapple to perhaps...
It seems like this
bridge
game's
that
kind of
gap.
going flowing back and forth here. Denver will get some, Boston will get some. So we'll see how it goes here. If either team can make an extended run.
And we've seen both of the jammers before us, Chop Chop for Denver and Rage Bradbury, 2 of the more successful jammers for each team.
Yeah, both of these jammers are having a great game here. And a big drawback now on Rage by number 212, Kalam for Denver. And it looks like Chop Chop is out as lead jammer and just about to engage the back of the pack once again.
And the star has been passed from Rage Bradbury to Wednesday Adams, who ended up caught up in the pack due to the quick observation of Bruising Altitude's defense.
And it looks like only 3 points for Denver on that. There was a whole lot of roller derby in that jam there for only 3 points. That brings our total Denver in the blue to 150 and Boston skating in the white this afternoon 104 with just a little over 16 minutes to go.
Beetlejuice versus Lil Payne off of our Eugene Weekly local and vocal jammer line. But more importantly, we are seeing Unprotected Lex just cleared the way for Beetlejuice to pick up lead very quickly, and a cut to the inside line, then bouncing back out in between Caitlin Monahan and Dorcas Maximus. 1 scoring trip down for Beetlejuice.
Oh,
Veronica
big
Ake,
goal.
right in the middle of Boston's blockers, really attempting to break it all up, but able to, Boston pulls together and draws back Denver's jammer. So let's see.
Looks like we got
6-4 on that
6-4 on that one. That's right.
So 6-4 in favor of Bruising Altitude takes Denver to 156 over Boston's 108.
Still plenty of time left. Anybody's game here. Boston put together a good run at the end of the first half. So we'll see how they go here.
Well, 4-2 pack advantage currently for Massacre, as Diosa Azteca and Unprotected Lex are having a seat in our Hit This penalty box. But it is Tiger Eye, your jammer of note for Boston, who unlocks the achievement of lead. And Andy out there.
It looks like we got 2 Boston players released from the penalty box and another one in. Playing a little bit of magic chairs here on the derby box.
Well, just 1 off to the box and then 1 to follow, yes. So 2 on the track right now, so we're seeing the tables turn as far as the line representation, but Tiger Eye able to cut around to the outside on the straightaway.
And Tiger Eye not worried about that disadvantage of blockers, still scoring points.
Nope. And keeping zeroed in and taken to the infield right now at the jammer line area, but pushing it up against a full line of 4 blockers. Aubrey Planet's going in for the offense, doing her best to make it weird and split them up.
Andy threw once again for 4 more for Denver, bringing the total to 12 so far this jam. And there's your call off.
Unprotected Lex with a big shoulder hit, detaining and driving down Tiger Eye at jam's end.
All right, so we got 12 points for each team on that jam.
An official timeout, so we'll take a second just to look at this. 168 for Bruising Altitude, 120 for Boston. It was a 12-12 tie. And it is an official timeout. Yes, just wanted to clarify.
Hey, we'd like to remind everybody RollerCon is your roller derby family reunion every summer. 11 and
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
11 and a half tracks, indoor skate park, hundreds of coaches, hundreds of games, social events, vendors, seminars, clinics, activities, and so much more. Be sure to see you there. Everybody needs to go to RollerCon at least once. So get your butts on over to RollerCon.
Okay, so speaking of the good times at RollerCon, but also some good times happening on the track. So while we've been waiting for everything to come together, we're seeing Watson Cerebro was standing in the infield and Coco Loco on the jammer line waiting for the official timeout. And there was some dancing going on, but pantomime dancing as well,
Nice.
because Coco Loco pretending to take pictures of Watson Cerebro dancing. Yeah, priceless moment, and I hope someone gets a gif of that later. We have a backblock penalty.
Yeah, backblock on Coco Loco headed to the penalty box. We'll have a power jam now for Small Fox.
And Small Fox was getting caught up and driven down, trying to see who did that. Oh, it appears that was on 2-1-2, Clam from Denver, and Agent Mulder working to break up a link and present some offense, but Watson Cerebro with the drawback on Small Fox, driving her out in turn one.
And Cruliette Lewis headed to the penalty box as well for Boston.
Now we'll see. Oh, Small Fox.
Small Fox now through on their initial scoring pass.
And that was just about a minute it took.
Yeah, that was a long time to get through that.
Grueling.
And Coco Loco back on the track now, scoring points for Denver. And Coco Loco with a nice hop move on the inside, scoring once again 4 more for Denver.
Okay, so Small Fox coming back in behind Watson Cerebro, then taken down by Clam and drawn back as well.
Okay.
Small Fox able to take a little space on the inside line. 12 points so far for Denver, 4 points for Boston on this jam. And we're seeing Cruliette Lewis back in the pack with MC Slammer and Monahan. Pack picks up a little bit of speed as it comes past the jammer line.
Looks like Small Fox got around the corner there just at the end. See what the call is for points.
A total of 17 points picked up by Bruising Altitude. Just 4 so far. Oh no, 7 for Boston.
There,
so
we were waiting for the call
127.
there.
127 to 185. Bruising Altitude still on top. Boston bench taking a breath and, well-deserved sip of water. No, but it's not. And just double checking, we were saying to Furious because we keep hearing the house folks talk about the after party. And as much as the street folks, I think everybody, they could, continue to have an all-day party if they wanted while they watch.
Well, imagine if you check out the hashtag BigO2019 a little bit later,
That's
there'll be
true.
photos, and you can live vicariously through all of our shenanigans at the after party.
Or send us your photos while you continue your all-day party.
Well, there's definitely that. And don't forget to use the hashtag BigO2019.
Yes.
Or, Big O cats, Big O dogs, Big O iguana. I like it.
It is fun, the Big O Iguana.
This whole weekend has just been a great time.
And thank you to Sparks. Thank you for the heads up. I know we were just straightening something out, but they can hear us on stream even when we think we are off mic. So,
Okay, we'll have
oopsie.
to remember that.
But luckily, we didn't say anything bad. We just sounded ridiculous, I'm sure. But thank you for that. But we appreciate you watching. And it's a power jam for Boston because there was a misconduct call. We know that's the heading down skater.
And we have a star pass now for Boston. Looks like Adams will be your jammer for Boston on this power jam.
Yeah, and so Chop Chop in our Hit This penalty box. Wednesday Adams, through, and we'll see, yes, 4 points on the first scoring trip for her. And yes, it is Adams. The scoreboard just has to be updated, so thanks for bearing with us on that. But right now, the wall of one presented by, is that Thorns? Just
Thorns,
really
yeah,
making it
number 98
tough.
Thorns, yeah, that was they were just not allowing the pass. Oh, and it looks like
Adams picks up a cutting the track penalty.
Adams now in the penalty box. So we have a power jam now the other way for Chop Chop.
Now, Nolan, as well as McLean and Planets, working the block and drawback to the outside in turn one. That is on Chop Chop. So right now in the front stretch, we see a pack penalty assessed. Just trying to check who it's on.
Oh, and another recycle on Chop Chop there by number 8.
Planets. And Wednesday Adams back on the track, not wasting time. Let's see if any points were picked up. Oh, there are at least a few, so we'll confirm shortly.
I see some fingers in the air. It's difficult to see from here, though.
I do believe 8 on 8 for that jam, so keeping it even. And 193 is the current tally for Bruising Altitude, 135 for Boston Massacre. Rage Bradbury versus Beetlejuice.
Both of these jammers having a great afternoon. Just scoring points pretty much every time they're out there. Both of them, it's interesting. And with that, looks like Beetlejuice will be our lead jammer for Denver.
And Brad has stashed the star, though a forearm call assessed to Brad. So this means that Juice will have, oh, well, we know the Juice is loose on the track with a power jam.
And Juice now through for the first 4 points of this jam.
And of course, we're seeing Electrocute out there, though working hard to bypass the defense from Denver because they had caught Volt in the back of the pack, but right now regrouping with our teammates and taking
a nice knockout.
Juice to the inside, yeah.
Pretty nice knockout there by Agent Mulder on Juice in that jam. Denver now at 200. They've broken the 2-century mark here. Boston standing at 135 with just a little over 8 minutes to go.
Don't mind me, just snickering. But back to the jam in progress. We've got Andy with the star for Denver versus Rage Bradbury, of course. And things are continuing. Brad out of the box, goes for the casual apex jump, though is denied. Caught up currently against Thorns and company. And Nolan going in to attack some links. And at the front of the pack, Andy able to evade Boston's defense.
Some nice track vision there. Andy just kind of weaving through the pack.
And Brad taking the star off. We'll see if the pass is happening. Nope.
And Andy once again. Hard-fought win. 4 more points for Denver.
Brad has stashed the star, though, coming up around Denver's defense.
And Brad now out on their initial pass.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up to the pack.
Now mid-back stretch, everyone's camped out and ready. Though the brace 2 wall from Denver at the front of the pack does sweep Brad out and back behind. Caught up on a pair of Denver blockers right now. That would be Thorns.
Oh, looks like Nolan headed to the penalty box for Boston. So now Boston with 2 skaters in the penalty box. That would be the hit this derby gear penalty box.
Yes, and contrary to what some may think, paying a visit to the Hit This Derby Gear penalty box does not get you free Hit This gear.
No, I'm sure it does not. And most of the time, it's not going to gain you much favor with the coach.
Oh, no, it won't. But most folks are hard enough on themselves that, they try to stay out of it.
That's probably true.
Mm-hmm. And Brad at the back of the pack quickly, making an adjustment and putting the star back on her helmet.
And there our jam comes to its natural end. 16 big points for Denver. And looks like
5 possibly in total.
5?
Looked like there was a single point put up by the referee, but I may have misinterpreted. There is an official review being requested. There were 2 points on that for Boston, so it'll be 6. That will take them to 141 to Denver's 216.
Hey, listen, while we got a little break in the action here, we want to shout out to Anna.
Oh, our super volunteer.
Anna, who I don't have her last name. I wonder if that's her derby name. For being our very first superstar volunteer for the weekend, for doing over 15 hours of volunteer work here at the tournament. So that's just epic. Thank you very much, Anna, and we appreciate all the volunteers and everybody that it takes to put this kind of event on. It's just a massive event, and there's tons of people involved, and we really appreciate it. Anna is our very first volunteer, over 15 hours.
And we sincerely appreciate them. And from what I understand, that was before the halfway mark of the tournament.
I was going to say, I think I saw that note yesterday somewhere.
Yes.
And that's
This is Boston's official review requesting a track cut be issued to the Denver Jammer in the previous jam.
all right. Well, there we have the explanation of what the powwow is about, although I thought they were just talking about what they were going to wear to the after party.
Oh, no. Duke Skellington all over that. And, while they confer, we'll have additional updates for you. And I know that we spoke briefly about the WFTDA tournament, providing everyone who loves roller derby an opportunity to witness the most anticipated matchups of the year. You get all the info at WFTDA.com/tournaments. But also, if you're looking specifically for information on events in general, specifically including, I would say, Continental Cups, or I know that it's WFTDA.com/cups for the Continental Cup specifics, but in general, WFTDA.com/events will give you everything for Division I playoffs to our pièce de résistance this year. That is the 2019 WFTDA International Championships that will take place in Quebec, Montreal, hosted by Montreal Roller Derby. All right, so we'll await confirmation. We're just taking a second. Everyone patiently waiting. And we're seeing great camera work from our friends here on the production staff at the Big O 2019. Thank you so much. Oh, we got a great dance party going on. Looks like Wilhelm. Wilhelm dancing it out. All right. Hey, we're having a good time. And Coco Loco,
Coco Loco, too. Everybody's having a good time. A little bit of a break here in the action.
That's right. And, it can't go wrong with a little groove, of course. And right now, during this particular game, that is Painmaker from a Lane County Concussion, bringing us the tunes. Even if you can't catch it on the stream, at least you know who is providing the soundtrack here at Turn 1 during Bruising Altitude versus Boston Massacre. And, helping us fill the gaps in the game.
And just a reminder, too, next up on track 1 here at the Big O, coming up at about 2 o'clock, should be Sailor versus Dock City.
Ooh, that's going to be good.
That ought to be a good game.
After review, referees did not observe that the Denver Jammer stepped out of bounds and illegally gained position on a white blocker, and therefore no penalty will be issued. Boston will not retain their review for the period.
All right, thank you, Mr. Head Referee. We appreciate that clarification. And just about ready to get started again. Looks like we'll have Little Pain and Coco Loco as our jammers.
Yes, Duke Skellington, the head referee for this particular game, joined out there by Dilligaff, Nacho, Alcoholic, Jesse Jackass, Chris Mays, and Genetic Disorder. Don Scorleone, Heads Will Roll, Toad, Darth Bling, Masquerade, Gore and Browncoat, Sister Violence, Snapdragon, Queen of Catitude, Snarkomedes, and Rabid Derby Fan. So those are our skating officials and non-skating officials. Thanks again. Love to you all.
And while that was happening, Coco Loco has taken lead jammer and now through the pack once again for the first 4 points of this jam.
So turn 2, the place to be at the moment, though the jammers do not want to be there. We're seeing the 2-wall of Cruliat Lewis and Dorcas Maximus able to burn the clock a bit on Coco Loco, but she is able to escape 4 additional points, making that second scoring pass bring things up to 8 points on the jam.
And it looks like we have a star pass now. Lil Payne will be our jammer of note for Boston.
No points.
Was that a star pass? No.
No, it was a stash.
Oh, they just had it stashed.
Yeah,
I
that's
saw
all
him
right.
putting on the
She
star,
did.
and that was it.
Yeah, Payne had stashed it. That's okay, though. But 0 points.
Sometimes that works. It did appear to get her through the initial pass there on that one.
Well, I find especially if your helmet is a similar color to your cover, then
Yeah,
it's particularly helpful.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to tell which one's wearing the star. They have the white helmets on.
Right, but if you have a red helmet and your star is, say, white, out of luck, friend.
Yeah.
But Chop working the front of the pack up against Adams, as well as Tiger Eye, and let's see, can't tell. Oh, Monahan. Oh, no.
Chop just pounding through the middle of the pack there. Would not be denied.
Yep, it is Tiger Eye along with Lil Something, who just took the star.
Now we have a star pass. So it looks Little Something will be our jammer for Boston. And Chop with the call off.
Adams was prepared to attack the Lynx, but of course ending the jam with a smile because everybody said, wait a minute, can't do anything. Whistles have been blown. A 4-3 pack advantage currently for Boston Massacre as we have one bruising altitude blocker, number 27 Gobrecht, having a seat in our Hit This Derby Gear penalty box. Before you hit the track, hit this. And we've got a team timeout. That was called by Boston, so they're just taking a moment. And we have our schedule for the rest of the day, do we not, over here? Just curious because we have a few things happening on track 1. But of course, you don't get just one track. You get not 2, but 3 over the course of the 3 days of games. So not too shabby. Denver's penalties, thanks to our producers. Glitterous and Unprotected Lex, unfortunately, hit 7 penalties. So they have fouled out of the game. They currently have 3 skaters, Coco Loco being a jammer with 4 penalties, as well as Watson Cerebro. We have Wednesday Adams with 6 penalties, so at risk of a foul out. And Emily Nolan and Lil Something, 2 of their heavier weight blockers as far as presence on the track, they are at 5. So a couple of things to be cognizant of as we head into Jam 19. Beetlejuice jamming for bruising altitude, Small Fox for Boston.
Yeah, those penalties could play big here. There's a little bit of time left in the game, and we'll see how that shakes out. It's like Small Fox on the line here for Boston.
Now, Agent Mulder was all over Beetlejuice. Appears that Maul was able to force a cutting the track penalty on that quick drawback. So it is a power jam in favor of Small Fox and Massacre. Lead declared at 40 seconds in.
And another Denver skater, Clam, headed to the penalty box. So 2 skater total advantage here now for Boston.
Watson Cerebro, along with company, working the tractor trailer action on the inside line in the front straightaway. Though Small Fox able to persevere, making it a total of 8 points, I believe, on that. We'll see. There were 4, and we're waiting on the scoring trips. But Small Fox diving into the pack's center to see what she can get from it as far as points. And the inside line is kind.
And Speedlejuice out of the boxes and coming up to the pack, so we have a call off there. So it does look like 8 points were awarded there for Boston and none for Denver.
Okay, it was a total of 8. I was double checking because I thought I saw a delay on the points being added.
I thought so too. But
Yeah, but one never knows. Sometimes it can be the tech, but we wait and see.
Well, yeah, because as well as not being able to see the penalty box from here, we can't really see the scoreboard either. Although we have it on our monitor, it's still sometimes a little bit of a lag.
One never knows, but we're seeing a lot of smiles over on the Boston bench. Everyone having a great time here at the Big O 2019.
And another little delay out there. It looks like all the skaters are having a good time as well.
Well, it's a team timeout for Boston, taking a quick breath and just getting themselves reset.
It's one of my favorite things about roller derby is while the competition is fast and furious and oftentimes highly heated on the track during the game, anytime there's a break or before or after the bouts, the skaters are just friendly and nice, and they're all here for the same thing, to have a good time and enjoy roller derby.
Yes.
It's one of the best things about it, I think.
It's true. It's called, hey, make me work hard and we'll have a good time.
I know you see, if you look at the little jammer on jammer action, Coco Loco knocking out Rage Bradbury. And the call off there, Rage Bradbury, with a huge smile on their face.
Coco Loco taking that little aggressive action, but did not yield results beyond, hey, a little bit of a crowd reaction.
See, there you see what I was just talking about. Then they go around and give the high five to each other because that's just how we do.
Most definitely. And McLean is ready. Oh, look at this. And I know that this is usually on the Jammer bingo card, which I don't like to cite, but folks were joking around about old school scrum starts on the track just then, and that's exactly why you've had some of the long-term Boston folks that was setting up on a knee.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Little throwback.
Yep. Well, Planets, Monahan, Lil Payne, they have been with Massacre long enough to have remembered doing that before together.
That's awesome.
But McLean working the pack in the back, not out yet. Chop Chop made quick work of it, did get out, is on the scoring trip right now. Lil Payne does get out. We'll see how quickly she can get back to the pack and if any points are accrued. All right, Chop Chop knocked to the infield by Aubrey Planets and company. And, I'm sorry. I said Lil Payne. I meant Casey McLean. Lil Payne is in the pack.
Some good defense here by Watson Cirabo on Casey McLean.
Now, the brakes being put to the max in the front by Boston. Now, Chop Chop does get out after Boston's Jammer. So McLean does walk away with 4, as does Denver. So we are at the end of the game. Can you believe it went that fast?
Wow. That was crazy. I didn't realize it was almost over.
Yes, it took me a second. I went, wait a second.
What happened to our clock?
Yeah.
Well, that was a great game. That was awesome. Right down to the end.
And it was the last jam. That's why they went with the scrum. They were joking around about it. So 236 to 154. And that is Bruising Altitude from Denver taking the win over Boston Massacre. A great time had by all. And we are happy to have been here with you at the Big O 2019. And, So Furious, it has been a pleasure.
And mine as well. Thank you very much. And this has been a great weekend, and I hope everybody stays tuned for some more awesome roller derby to come.
That's right, here on Track One, live from the Big O. We'll see you.
Have a good afternoon.